Alright, I guess I'll do a short little rant again about how many times I have to rant about the cost of living. But people don't. It's because I feel like nobody really comprehends. I feel like anyone that really had any sort of a comprehension of the difference between, like, even back when I was a little kid, or like a little, say 10 years before I was born or something, even, go back about 50 years, 40, 50 years, or, give or take, right? And it's like, you don't, like, it seems like most people have no comprehension of the difference. And you know what's the weirdest thing is, it seems like a lot of the people that are like that even lived back during those times seem to be some of the ones that act like they have even the least comprehension of what the fuck it was like. It's like they completely forgot, or they just like adapted to some new fucking reality or something. No, it's the weirdest fucking thing, because it's like, it's like people don't notice or care about, like, at all. Like, if literally everybody in the country had say they had, everyone in the country had their property taxes raised to, $250,000 a year, per half acre or some shit, right? How many people would even get off their ass and stand up and say anything, or hold a protest sign, or do anything? Would they even notice, or would they just go, oh, I guess we have to move? And if the goddamn groceries, if the bread at the store suddenly gets the price raised to, $500 for a loaf of bread, is everyone just going to go without bread? Or work extra jobs so they can afford bread or something? Sell drugs to afford bread? Like, what? Like, how much slavery are you people willing to fucking put up with? Like, and for how fucking long, for Christ's sake? It's just... Now I was just talking to my mom's husband. I went to this diner with him, and he was having a conversation with a couple other people that were, older, people in like their 70s, 60s and 70s and stuff. And they were all talking about, because I kind of was talking about the housing situation and cost of living. And I heard one after another, he said, I used to rent a 2-bedroom house for $45 a month back in, I don't remember, he said 1974 or some shit like that, right? And then, the woman that was, chick with the coffee behind the counter said, I know my parents or such and such, or no, or my brother or sister or something. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said, so and so, bought a house, bought her first house back in the 70s. Paid $42 a month payments to buy the house, And then they were talking about how, and others were, talking about, the real value of like the mobile homes and things like that, and they're like, yeah, I bought my mobile home for $1,000. There were like a whole row of like older people talking back and forth, and I was getting them involved in this conversation, and they were all saying the same kind of shit, that like, yeah, we're paying, $45 a month to rent a place, and like, oh, we paid $42 to buy our place, $42 a month to buy our place, just as payments, So, like, how does this not upset anyone and make you say, like, fuck literally doing anything at this point, except, like, why isn't literally everyone in the country that, is a human being and likes, I don't know, having shelter, banding together with, like, torches and pitchforks in the middle of the street right now, like, or years ago, for that matter? There was this huge increase in housing costs that I noticed, which it's tricky to find a lot of the evidence, because when you do find the evidence or whatever, if they realize that they left some evidence of like reality from the past on the internet, they try to like wipe it out, erase the reality. But like, you used to be able to look on Zillow and see like the previous ownership of houses and things like that, and what year they sold in and how much they sold for in that year, and so on and so forth. And you could see a lot of fucking listings, like it would be like, this house sold and is for sale now for $320,000 or something, right? Or sold for $320,000 in 2021 or whatever the fuck, right? But then you could go back and see like previously sold, and back in 2003 or 4 or something, for be like $50,000 or something like that, right? And then you go back, be like 10 years further back, and it's like previously sold in 1994 for, and then you got a big fucking gap there, because it'll say like $5,000, $3,000 or something, and then like 10 years later, 10, 11 years later, it shoots up from like 5,000 to like 50, 60, 70,000 or something, and then now it's like 4, 5, 6 times that. And then there's like more restriction and regulation and things, and just more skullduggery fuckery designed to like keep people from having a place to live. It's like you need a base of operations, man. You need a place to put your shit where your stuff is yours. I mean, that's what this whole like main part of like World Economic Forum, fucking Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. You will own nothing and be happy. You will eat the bugs. You will own nothing. That's what it's all about, man. And what a lot of people don't realize is, even that have poured so many years of hard work in and built, a place, and bought and paid ridiculous amounts of money for land and so on and so forth, is that they already don't fucking even own the shit. It's like you're basically renting, and you don't even realize it. Everybody is, whether you even basically, I mean, unless you have a very defensible position, tell you that. And be ready to fucking pick your hill to die on or whatever kind of thing. But it's like, are we just gonna let, like, I mean, as it is already, there's a huge amount of people that are homeless, and what's so sickening is you have this big number of people that are going. It's like we live in some kind of fucking twisted culture where, like, suffering is seen as a virtue or something, and it's like people take pride in their suffering, and they take pride in suffering, and they think everybody else needs to suffer like I suffer because suffering is so great and I'm so cool, you know. It's just like it's become born into our culture. Like, it's fucked, man. It's like people wear it like a badge of honor, you know. I plowed more crops in Master's field yesterday than you did. Oh yeah? Well, I was going to plow twice as many crops as you tomorrow. Master's going to be real happy with me. Probably give me the big house up in the corner. Yeah, right. It's like, what the fuck, man? When the fuck are people going to wake up and smell the slavery? Master give me some money, says Monopoly on it. Gonna mean I'm gonna have all the powers. It says Monopoly money. I'm sorry. I'm probably being too loud. It's just like, it's fucking ridiculous, man. People are paying more per month to rent an apartment now than what you used to be able to buy, like a fucking 3-bedroom, 2-bath house for just like 50 fucking years ago or something, or 40 years ago, you know. Basically, and you know, 100 years, you know, 70, 80, 100 years ago, for what you're paying in a single month's rent, you could have owned like a fucking 10, 12 bedroom house, like 2 or 3 stories, like bigger and more luxurious than the shit from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and stuff, man. And you'd own the land that it sat on, and it'd be yours, and you didn't have to pay fucking the heavy property taxes and all this other bullshit. It's just, people don't get it, man. It's like people don't realize the most basic concept that people need to have a home. They need to have a piece of land and a roof over their head and 4 walls, and, you know, to own the things they have. And people, it's like we're trying to own stuff, but everything's just getting stolen, and everything's being kept away from it. And then you don't have a place to put your shit, so you end up putting it in storage, and there are storage places popping up all over the place because everybody's going fucking homeless, or if they manage to get any kind of place at all, it's a place where they don't even have enough space for the shit that they own, because they have to live in some tiny cramped apartment that they're paying more in a month for than people used to buy a fucking house for. Not even that damn long ago. Basically, like, back when minimum wage was about half what it is now, maybe slightly lower, barely, people were like renting, you know, 2 or 3 bedroom houses for like $45-50 a month. do you get what I'm saying here? Like they were making like, $6, $7, $8 an hour depending on where you're at, right? If they had a minimum wage job, right? And they were only paying, so like basically their monthly rent was about a day or two of their month's pay if they were renting a place. But they didn't have to be renting a place. They could be making payments to buy a place with that much money or less and end up owning a house. So how come everyone now is getting fucked over? And then on top of that, how come now all the most of the older people that are like actually lived through this crap are like just yelling at kids, "Hey, just get a job. You're just a lazy bum. Just get a job. We ain't been thinking about that." You know? And giving us all a story about how hard they fucking had to work and everything. Like, motherfucker, you had to work like a day or two to pay your fucking month's rent and fill up your gas tank and take a fucking road trip to Disneyland or whatever the fuck while you ate out at fucking Burger King all the time. I don't know. It's like unless you were working as working under the table as a farm laborer or something, paid in cash by someone who paid you less than minimum wage, which some people did. There were those jobs, and it's good that those jobs existed, I guess, because it gives people the option anyways, I guess. And then it's kind of not, because people are getting screwed. Well, anything you involve the government in becomes totally fucked up, basically. Basically, yeah. That's kind of the way it is. It's a screw job. Anything they dip their fingers into gets completely fucking screwed up and becomes like a massive, massive bureaucracy and thievery and lies and deceit and corruption. It's just, I wish it weren't so, but it seems to be, don't it? Only if you're, paying attention at all to anything going on in the world whatsoever. You have a clue, I'm got a raging clue right now. What was that? Some cartoon or whatever? Anyway. Yeah, I'm not just talking me. I'm like, everybody is getting fucking screwed. Massively. My mom's husband worked basically his whole life. He used to work for the fucking, he worked from the time he was like probably, 14 or something. Busted his ass everywhere. He ended up with some high paying county job. Dude used to be like a millionaire at one point. He used to buy like sports cars for all for his kids, and he just give people lavish gifts. Like he loaned his brother like some massive amount of money, close to like $500,000 or some shit, which never got totally paid back or anything either. No, but it's like he's living in a camp trailer. And he can't really afford to do any better than that. Well, actually, Actually, I think that if he let me help him look or whatever, like, he could do better. He could get into, like, probably a mobile home in a 55 and up community, because they do have certain things to make sure that the older people have more cheap options available to them. But anyone who's not, like, 55 and up is complete. I mean, the 55 and up are kind of screwed too, but not nearly like everybody under that age is fucking screwed though. Well, because if you're 55 and up, like, you know, there's still. Do you think Social Security program is gonna be there in 10 fucking years? Hell, 5 years? Like, ugh. I mean, I can understand why people think money grows on trees, because it's made out of paper, right? But actually, it's laying all over the ground and all over every fucking bit of the earth. And they know this, but normal people don't know this, so you can't do business with anyone with real asset trading. You know, there used to be like a barter system, and people used to, you know, comprehend basic concepts like, oh, you mean humans need shelter and food? Whoa, no way, man. Humans? Shelter for humans? Save the whales, save the birds, save the this, save the that. Fuck the human. Right? It's just, it's amazing to me that such a level of, God, just incremental, like, long-term, just brainwashing could have such a profound effect on people. Like, it's gotten to the point, I've seen, like, from what I've seen so far of, like, how absolutely dull, like, people's perception of reality is, it's like, it would not surprise me if, like, people were walking around docile and calm through the grocery store or something when the fucking lunch meat and the bread are like $500 a, you know, or $1,000. There'll just be like rich people walking around in there, you know. Homeless people haul away off into, or poor people haul away into fields or concentration camps or something, while rich people, you know, people with government jobs or whatever, are like, oh, gee, groceries are getting a bit high, aren't they? Doesn't bother me though. Just get a job, you lazy bums. Yeah, right? It's like, motherfucker. It's like the fucking baby boomer generation. Well, kind of fucked the entire fucking planet, basically. Like, especially like the Western world, or like these people that were born in the 50s and 60s, and not all of them obviously, but like a lot of them, they just became the most heavily brainwashed people in existence somehow. And it's weird how that would happen though too, because if you look back in like the early days or whatever, they were some of the most more awake generation out there. Even though the left-wingers and stuff used to be like libertarian type and stuff like that, and everybody would they were like, nobody trusted the government, and everyone was like, and even up into like the 90s and early 2000s and stuff, it was like you were cool for being down with the man, distrusting authority and all. I don't know, it's just fight the powers that be. Got to fight the power. Fight the powers that be. Right? That was like the schools are prisons. All that kind of stuff. It's like people seemed like they were more awake, but then as they got older, it's like they fucking just went into a complete and total like hypnotic trance. Not everyone, but like a whole fucking lot of them, right? But that's true of generations that come after them too, like the ones, especially like the goddamn like millennials and shit. Like, but you can, it's not everyone in any age group really. It's just but. I don't know. It's like I think this all kind of relates to a couple of things, like the Mandela effect, and also like some sort of like mind control technologies being used against the people or something, And it's not just like it's like beyond, something that like literally. Like if I was gonna like just hold a class or something to try to wake people the fuck up, right? There'd be certain things that would be like some of the first things that I would tell people, like, you have to sit and listen to this, and like you'll have homework assignments on this. If you weren't paying attention, I will know, and you will fail this class. You understand, right? And one of these things is you gotta listen to this speech that Aldous Huxley gave at the University of, I believe it was Berkeley, called The Ultimate Revolution. Just listen to the speech and the question and answer section. There will be homework, right? Just so you can start to get like a little bit of a concept of like some of the ways in which mind control will be implemented against the population, has been implemented against the population. But that speech is from like the 60s. It's something you gotta recognize, And that dude was not like a science fiction writer, he was involved in like the planning and one of these like blood relation to the family, directly related to he's involved with all that, early New World Order kind of planning phase, So just because he wrote Brave New World, that wasn't a fiction. That wasn't a science fiction. That was let's call it an imagining that was made to look like science fiction, an imagining of a possible future, dystopian future that they wanted to create. Both Huxley and Orwell were like in on the shit, kind of, They weren't just like sci-fi writers; they were central planners, basically. God, I need to get some fucking bug bombs. I keep forgetting to buy bug bombs because it's like part of the time it's like I hate to just buy a bug bomb so I can bug bomb a motel room that I might move the fuck out of in a week or something, Because I don't know how much they even cost. But I'm sick of these little roach fuckers everywhere. Annoying. Anyways, so yeah, is there any level of absolute stripping away of basic human decency, freedom, of your time, of your value, of your money? Is there anything that these fucking tyrants can't steal from you while laughing in your face, basically, and mocking you while they do it? Is there anything that will ever make people stand up and say and take notice that shit is fucked up and go, hey, we gotta do something about this shit and this isn't right. We gotta start fucking working together like as communities and making it, We can't allow this, You've just let these small groups of people, but it's gotten to such a point now where these small little groups of people that are mostly a bunch of weak, effeminate, cowardly, but control freak Karen types kind of thing, But they're everywhere. They're in all the fucking halls of power, all the city councils, all the school boards, all the fucking they got into every goddamn facet of every little council and every little group that gets together and talks about things and discusses and plans what they want to do in the cities and the counties and the states and the country and these people get together and have speak and to plan the future for the nations and the world and the children and the environment and the this and the that and the social justice here and the this thing over there and basically the central planners or whatever. These people, and it's mostly a bunch of unelected people or people that just they do this there's this fake persona is what people don't get, man. It's if I get real and I start talking about real things with people or even I'm just walking and talking like a normal person and making eye contact like a normal person or anything, a lot of people will be even might be intimidated just by my presence or something. but one of these like really slimy, super evil people that would just, you know, slit your throat for $1 kind of fucking people can walk in and just, hi everybody, oh hey, how are you doing? Oh good, that's nice. And everybody's like, oh, they were so nice, such a nice person, you know, because they talk to people like children, like they're your best friend, super sweet, and all this kind of, like, a lot of people that are like that are just, it's a fake persona. It's like, you know, wolves in sheep's clothing kind of thing. Sheepdogs and the bears might try to put on sheep's clothing to try not to scare the sheep, but they don't fit. It doesn't fit right. I don't know, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane to me. Like, I'm sitting there in a fucking diner listening to like half a dozen older people in the like 60s and 70s talking back and forth about it. Like, yeah, I bought my house in 1970 something and paid $42 a month for it. Oh, I bought my place for $2,000. Yeah, mine was $4,000. Oh, but it's really nice though. It's got this big garage and a super nice room. Oh, it's so fucking, yeah. You know, and they're talking about this shit, and I'm sitting here going, fuck, I'm paying more than that every goddamn month for the last fucking year for a goddamn motel room, basically. You know? And you own a place that you don't hardly have to pay anything on now. That you could, just because you bought it 40 or 50 years ago or some shit, right? And your paycheck was enough to where, like, you could have, like, if you could have paid it off within, like, less than a fucking year, like, the type of things that were available. Unless you wanted some, depending, you know, I mean, I'm talking, okay, if we're only talking, like, 40, 50 years ago, then in a lot of instances we're talking about, like, mobile homes, basically. But many times we're talking a mobile home that's on a freaking lot of land that you own the mobile home and the land that it sits on. So, you know, or we're talking, you know, but if you're talking like farmhouse, the barn, and this, that, and the other thing, and numerous acres, then you're looking at more like, could be anywhere from 10 to like 25 and above. Like, oh no. And we're just and now that's like, what, $1 million range kind of shit? Like, damn near. Damn near. And it's like, how does this not bother anyone? How are people okay with this? How are people, you know, and what's worse than that is it seems like there's a vast portion of the population that'll like walk past these people that are homeless on it, like, or living in their car or whatever, right? And they just talk like, oh, these fucking lazy bum, garbage, filth, these garbage all over our street, yeah, fuck these people, you know? And they don't even fucking see, even though a lot of them are like older people that literally bought their house for like fucking $3,000 or $4,000, or rented a house for years for $40-50 a month or something, right? And just lived like in basically the lap of luxury, practically had fucking plenty of money to burn in their pocket. You know, whether they, even if they only had a part-time fucking job or something. And they're looking at us like, you guys just need to pick up fucking, you know, you guys should start working 160 hours a week. Yes, yeah, that's what you do, you know. Fucking lazy. You know. And the goddamn rent's like going, doubling every in a couple of years or some shit now. I don't know. I know I can remember, like, I'd been to other people's apartments and stuff years past, and from what I can recall, I've seen numerous decent apartments back, like, say 2012, say, 10, 11 years ago, maybe a little slightly beyond that, around that fucking time. You know, the apartments were less than half the cost of what they are now. Like, significantly, like, it's more like a third of the cost of what they are now. Well, gee, did your fucking wages go up times 3 in that time? Maybe some did. Sold their fucking soul to the devil or something.